Awesome. We are live again. Get situated. Okay, I'm running late. I'm so sorry, but we had a good discussion going over on Instagram Live, so I couldn't just quit. But here we are. We're here. Don't worry. We are back. It's another show. I think this is week 7 that we've done this, which is exciting. So it's another Tuesday. Here we are. We had coming off of a holiday weekend. Hope you guys had a great Labor Day weekend. I did. You can maybe tell my voice is kind of struggling a little bit here. We got to go back to Nebraska and hang out with family and friends. We went to a wedding and all kinds of fun things, but I talked way more than I normally do and laughed way more than I normally do, and still takes a toll on my voice. So here we are, doing the best we can with what we got. Yay, we got some people. Welcome. Comment, give me some thumbs up, let me know you're here. Love to know who you are. Got some awesome stuff planned today. I was just saying that my voice is kind of struggling, so if I sound funny, that's why. But, so, it's kind of funny. I spent all day preparing or working on digging into a different message that I was going to share with you. And then I realized, so I'm going through Revelation Wellness training right now, and we are working through Nehemiah. And we're digging really deep into that, and it's been super awesome and powerful. It just got some really amazing insight from the people that we're doing it with, and I realized, why am I digging really deep into one Bible study and another in order for this? Why don't I do the same one? So that's what I'm doing. So I didn't scratch the other one, but I put it on hold, and we're gonna start Nehemiah. We're gonna work our way through Nehemiah, because why not? I hope that's cool with you guys. But really, it's been amazing, and I just know that it's a God thing, because it's all aligning perfectly with the ministry that we're doing with Vulnerably Vibrant and the message that we're going after there too. So really, it could not have worked out better. So that is what we're gonna do. Thumbs up for Nehemiah. But before we do anything, we got to do our crowd music discovery. Yes, crowd music here. So today we are going to listen to Julia Ross. She is doing some awesome things. This song is called Fell in Love with a Thief. Let me pull up her stuff here. Hi, Deb. How are you? Okay, this is Julia Ross, Fell in Love with a Thief. And she had, okay, so let's see. Pop artist and singer-songwriter from the band Everlife. She has been, let's see, performed on Saturday Night Live, Jimmy Fallon, Ellen, MTV's Unplugged, and the Disney Channel, which is pretty cool. She's also sang with people like the Chainsmokers and Miley Cyrus, also really cool. But you guys, she's got a really awesome heart too. And so let's see, her music is filled with truth and passion, and let's see, experience her music so they can know themselves as peaceful, complete, and whole, safe human beings. So she's got a really amazing heart as well, from what I can tell reading her bios here too. So this is Fell in Love with a Thief, Julia Ross.
You better hold your tongue. There's nothing left to say, dear, 'cause what you have is mine. Mine, mine. And when you turn around, my hands relieve you of your vital sight. You think you lost your mind, you'll never get it back. When you can't believe your eyes, and you're begging on your knees. fell in love with the theme. You fell in love with the theme. You fell in love with the theme.
Good stuff. Oh yeah. That's super sticky. I get it stuck in my head all the time. So, okay, this is crowd music. I know I've told you a million times, but really, it's so awesome. Crowdmusic.com/Alexa Kriss. You can find her music there, along with a bunch of other amazing artists. It's so fun. Basically, it's a platform that is supporting artists and paying them for creating amazing music, what they're worth. And it also pays people like us, listeners, to promote their music as well, and you build a crowd around it, and really it's just an amazing cause. So if you guys are interested in checking that out, you can go to crowdmusic.com/Alexa Kriss, or you can just ask me. I would love to tell you more about it as well. So that's crowdmusic.com/Alexa Kriss. And today was Julia Ross Fell in Love with a Thief. All right, so let's dive in here. So this is the message. So we are starting to go through Nehemiah, and this stuff is so cool. The last few videos that I had done, I had basically looked up a definition of something, and we started from there. But today, we're going to start with just reading the beginning of the chapter here. And I don't know if you guys saw it, but not that long ago, I had just posted a picture that said, how selfish am I to avoid another's discomfort for the sake of my own? And basically, hi Cindy, we're talking about Nehemiah today. So basically that is what has been on my heart through all of this, the whole Vulnerably Vibrant mission that we are on right now, and especially as we have worked through this study, basically getting comfortable being uncomfortable. So let's go ahead and jump in. So I'm just going to read a little bit here. So this is Nehemiah chapter 1. So it says, the words of Nehemiah, son of Hakaliah. In the month of Kislev, in the 20th year, while I was in the citadel of Susa, Hanani, one of my brothers, came from Judah with some other men, and I questioned them about the Jewish remnant that had survived the exile and also about Jerusalem. They said to me, those who survived the exile and are back in the province are in great trouble and disgrace. The walls of Jerusalem is broken down, and its gates have been burned with fire. When I heard these things, I sat down and I wept. For some days I mourned and fasted and prayed before the God of heaven. Okay, so we're going to stop right there. Let's dig into this a little bit. There's some good stuff. So there's some things that I think are really important to understand before we read the rest of this that will make it much more powerful. So one is that Nehemiah is not back in Jerusalem. So he's not where the people are in disgrace or in trouble. He's in a different city, so he's not with them physically. He's, let's say, removed in a safe and comfortable place. He's actually serving the king Artaxerxes. So there is that. Another is that right when his brother and these men get there, one of the first things that at least we're aware of that he asks is how the people are doing. So this I think shows that he cares enough to be concerned about how they're doing, and he does not know, so he asks. Because if we don't care about something, we wouldn't ask about them. So I think that's another important thing to keep in mind. The next is when he learns about their state, that they are in trouble and they are in disgrace, he is deeply affected by it. So even though he's not back home with them, he is deeply saddened. The distance doesn't diminish the problem. He feels it as intensely as if he were there. So I think that's also really important. And then the last thing that I want to point out is that he prepares for what's to happen in prayer. And he fasts and he weeps and mourns. and then he goes to God in prayer. So those things, keep in mind those things, and then I'm going to read a little bit more, and we'll dig a little deeper here. Okay, so this is his prayer. He says, "Then I said, Lord, the God of heaven, the great and awesome God who keeps his covenant of love with those who love him and keep his commandments. Let your ear be attentive and your eyes open to hear the prayer your servant is praying for you day and night for your servants, the people of Israel. I confess the sins we Israelites, including myself and my father's family, have committed against you. We have acted very wickedly toward you. We have not obeyed the commands, decrees, and laws you gave your servant Moses. Remember the instruction you gave your servant Moses, saying, 'If you are unfaithful, I will scatter you among the nations. But if you return to me and obey my commands, then even if your exiled people are at the farthest horizon, I will gather them from there and bring them to the place I have chosen as a dwelling for my name. They are your servants and your people, whom you redeemed by your great strength and your mighty hand. Lord, let your ear be attentive to the prayer of this your servant, and to the prayer of your servants who delight in revering your name. Give your servant success today by granting him favor in the presence of this man." It's such an awesome prayer. In fact, one of the people in our class, I guess, for Revelation Wellness said that she made this personal and plugged her name in there. I think that's a really cool tool to use. But yes, so let's see here. The prayer. Okay, so cool things to point out in this is, one thing, keeping in mind what we said about him not actually being there in Jerusalem. Hi, Gabby. How are you? Okay, so he's not actually in the city that's in distress, but yet he includes himself. He says, we have fallen short. We basically need you. And he includes himself in that. He's not just praying for other people. He's including himself in what's going on. He didn't have to include himself, but he knew better. And I think that shows his humility, and something that is a great model for us. And it's a model of how Jesus was for us too. So he is very humble. Let's see. He goes on and he says, remember. This is funny. One of the people in our group said that this is like when like a kid is like, Mom, remember you said after church we can get ice cream. And I think that's like the perfect picture, because it's showing two things. One, that Nehemiah knew what God had said and that he had confidence in his promises. And if you don't know what he said, then you can't repeat it back and be like, hey, Dad, remember you said you'd do this? So I think that's really huge, is you can't know what he says unless you're listening and paying attention and digging deep and all of that. So I think that's a really powerful thing to realize, is, repeating back what God has promised us. Because remember this. Remember what you said. And then last here, and I think this is, of course, really powerful as well. He asks for what he needs. He says, give your servant success. He was bold and courageous and just asked for what he needed in his prayer. So the very last part is what brings this all together. And it's just very, very short. 6 words, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6 words. And it says, the last words of the chapter, it says, I was cupbearer to the king. And that didn't mean anything to me until I looked up what cupbearer meant. And then once I knew that, it just gave entirely new meaning to everything in this chapter. So, cupbearer. What is it? Well, cupbearer is basically the most highly trusted and esteemed king's official. Their job is basically to taste the wine or the food before it's given to the king to make sure it's not been poisoned. So, of course, the king has to, like, this is an important job. The king has to trust him a lot. So, once I understood that, going back and looking at these things that we've pointed out, it just is even more powerful. So, we understand now that Nehemiah is in a place of extreme comfort, apart from his job, which was probably one of the only risky and uncomfortable things he has to do. He's in the palace. He works just beneath the king. He's trusted, and he's got this high position. Not like most of the officials. He has to be trusted by the king. So he is in a very comfortable position. And so what does that mean to all of this? Well, what I took away most from it, well, I guess moving forward, as I continue to move forward with this vulnerably vibrant vision and our mission to inspire others to be armed with our vulnerability and alive with vibrance, I've felt really called to not just inspire them, but to serve people who are in vulnerable situations. And as I move forward with this, I keep getting pointed back to Psalms 82, 3-4. And basically it's just a charge or a command to serve the vulnerable people. And I think that's what we're all supposed to do. But here it says, defend the cause of the poor and the fatherless, vindicate the oppressed and suffering, rescue the poor and needy, deliver them from the power of the wicked. Basically summed up, it is serve the vulnerable, be there with them and for them in their time of need and help. And sometimes that means that we got to get uncomfortable. And I really think that as I read through chapter 1 of Nehemiah, that was his heart as well. He was in a place of comfort. We're all, in some way or another, yes, we're all battling and struggling with something. We've got something that's a little bit uncomfortable, like maybe serving the wine, making sure it's not poisonous. But we all have something that's just a little bit uncomfortable, but this is our place of comfort. We don't want to change. We're comfortable where we're at. And in Nehemiah himself, he could have said, I think we're all guilty of this a little bit. He could have said, here's a fat check, and I'm going to send some people because the king let me send some people to help you guys. Good luck rebuilding or protecting yourselves. Good luck out there. But instead, he knew that we aren't called to comfort. We're called to kingdom work. And in his humility, he continued to, even though he was in a place of comfort, he continued to seek God first. And next week, we're going to do chapter 2 of Nehemiah, or part of it at least. And we learn that gives him the courage to follow God's will and help his vulnerable people, even though it required him to get uncomfortable, and even if it meant to leave his place of comfort to serve and help and protect the vulnerable people. That just spoke to me huge. It was cool how we learned all of these things at the beginning of the chapter before we even got to the last 6 words that put it all into perspective. And it's just super cool. Okay, so get comfortable being uncomfortable in order to be there for people who need it, who are vulnerable. And that is how I got to how selfish can we be to avoid another person's discomfort for the sake of our own comfort. So think on that for a little bit. I do have a song. I'm going to attempt to sing it, but you guys, I threw this together last minute. I was just going to do a random song, but I was like, no, I need to do this one. So we're going to attempt to do it. But first I need water. I'm sure you can tell my voice is just shot today. Okay, so this is Phil Collins. Crossing my fingers I don't mess this up. Let me actually, before we do this, I'm going to look through some comments here. It's our greatest and hardest calling as a Christian to serve and love others. Yes. Whew. It is quite the calling, that is for sure. Thank goodness he helps us, because you don't want me doing this alone. Okay. Thanks, Deb. I need that right now. Okay, so this is Another Day in Paradise. Guys, the words are perfect for this. I think even the music video is, I think it's about homeless people, maybe. How we just kind of turn our heads at things that make us uncomfortable, and we can just like be ashamed of it. So try not to listen to me. Listen to the words here. I warned you. Okay. She calls out to the man on the street. Sir, can you help me? It's cold and I've nowhere to sleep. Is there somewhere you can tell me? He walks on, doesn't look back. He pretends he can't hear her. Starts to whistle as he crosses the street. Seems embarrassed to be there. Oh, think twice. It's another day for you and me in paradise. Oh, think twice, 'cause it's another day for you and me in paradise. Think about it. She goes out to the man on the street. He can see she's been crying. She's got blisters on the soles of her feet. She can't walk, but she's trying. Oh, think twice, 'cause it's another day for you and me in paradise. Oh, think twice, 'cause it's another day for you, you and me in paradise. You can tell from the lines on her face. You can see that she's been there. Probably been moved from every place, 'cause she didn't fit in there. Oh, think twice, 'cause it's another day for you and me in paradise. Oh, think twice, 'cause it's another day for you, you and me in paradise. Think twice, 'cause it's another day for you and me in paradise. Oh, think twice, 'cause it's another day for you, you and me in paradise. Just think about it. Nice job, Alexa. I know, it's such a good song. Okay. Well, thanks guys for hanging today. That's all that I really have for you. Basically, just want to leave you with a reminder that it gets dirty and it's crazy sometimes. It doesn't even make sense to, following God's will, and his plan does not even make sense. Like probably 90% of the time. I'm like, what am I doing? But that's okay. And it's okay to be uncomfortable as long as you're in his will. And I just really heard, when I was reading through all of this, I really heard God say, like, Alexa, I'm the one that gives you comfort. So don't cling to... Are we back? I don't know where we left off. I don't know what happened there. But I basically heard him say that, Alexa, I'm the one that gives you comfort. Don't cling to comfort. Cling to me. And I've just felt really like that's been on my heart lately. To just be okay, not being okay, be okay, being uncomfortable, because we're not supposed to cling to comfort. We're supposed to cling to him. And, I just felt on my heart, how selfish can I be to avoid somebody else's mess, somebody else's discomfort, for the sake of my own comfort. I can sacrifice my own comfort for somebody else if that's what I'm called to do. And that's what we are on mission to help people do. And we can't do that without being vulnerable and without his vibrance within us. So that is what I have for you today, guys. So that's Nehemiah 1. Just kind of recap, you guys check out Julia Ross Fell in Love with a Thief on crowdmusic.com/Alexa Kriss. If you guys want to learn more about Vulnerably Vibrant, you feel called to support what we're doing, it's quite the adventure it's been so far, and I just can't wait to see what's ahead. But you guys can go check out everything that we're doing and support us at alexakriss.com. Pretty simple there. But yeah, or just ask me. I'd be happy to share more or answer questions, or if something doesn't make sense, let me know, because that's the goal, to make sense as best we can. But anyways, that is all I have, guys. Thanks so much again for hanging out, and next week we will dig into Nehemiah chapter 2. We'll see what we've got there, and see what Nehemiah does next. Dun, dun, dun. Great message. Thank you everyone. Oh my gosh, if you guys love this stuff, go ahead and share it and tell people that we're on next Tuesday, same time. Yes, Tuesdays at, let's see, I was a little late today, but 7:30 is when I do the Facebook Live things here. So yes, and I have little pictures posted that say that too. So if you find those, 7 p.m. I do an Instagram, and 7:30 I do a Facebook on Tuesdays. So awesome. Well, I will see you guys next week then. Thanks so much for hanging out, for all your support, and I will see you next time.